My name is Hannah, and if there's one thing I've learned as a mother, it's that life has a way of testing you in ways you never expect. My son, Daniel, was always the kind of boy who carried the weight of the world on his shoulders even when he was young. He was thoughtful, serious, and sometimes too hard on himself. And as his mother, I often wished he could just breathe, relax, and understand that life doesn't have to be a race to perfection. The story I'm about to share is one that taught both of us a powerful lesson. It's not about grand gestures or huge life events, but about the quiet moments where love, patience, and understanding change everything. Daniel had always been a diligent student. From the time he was little, he wanted to do everything right. If he colored outside the lines in kindergarten, he would cry. If he missed a question on a math test in middle school, he would stay up late trying to redo it even though it didn't matter. By the time he was in high school, the pressure he put on himself became heavier than ever. It started one evening when I noticed him at the dining table, surrounded by textbooks. He had been sitting there for hours. His hand was tangled in his hair, his notebook was full of scribbles, and the dark circles under his eyes made him look older than his age. I poured him a glass of water and gently set it beside him. "Daniel," I said softly, "you need to take a break." "I can't, Mom," he muttered without looking up. "I have a test tomorrow, and I'm not ready. What if I fail? What if I let everyone down?" My heart ached hearing those words. I knelt beside him and placed a hand on his shoulder. "Son, take it easy," I whispered, the words slipping out before I even thought about them. "You're doing your best, and that's all anyone can ask of you." He shook his head. "My best isn't enough." I wanted to gather him up right then, but I knew Daniel didn't always respond well to big speeches. He needed reassurance in small doses. So instead, I told him, "Why don't we go for a walk? Just 15 minutes. Fresh air might help." He resisted at first, but eventually he put down his pencil and we walked around our neighborhood. The evening sky was painted with shades of orange and purple, and the crickets had begun their nightly song. We didn't talk much, but I could see his shoulders relax with every step. That became a ritual for us, those walks. Every time I saw him drowning in stress, I would suggest it. And each time, I'd remind him gently, "Son, take it easy." It became our quiet code for "I see you. You don't have to carry this alone." But as time went on, the pressure didn't let up. College applications, essays, interviews, it felt like the weight of his future rested on every decision. There was one night in particular that still makes my eyes sting with tears when I think about it. I woke up around midnight and noticed light seeping from under Daniel's door. I knocked softly, then pushed the door open. He was sitting at his desk, papers spread everywhere, tears silently rolling down his cheeks. "Daniel," I whispered, rushing to his side. "What's wrong?" He shook his head, trying to hide his face. "I can't do this, Mom. Everyone expects me to get into a top school. What if I don't? What if I let you down?" That broke me. I sat on his bed and patted the space beside me until he sat down too. I wrapped my arms around him the way I had when he was a little boy who scraped his knee. "Listen to me," I said firmly but lovingly. "You will never, ever let me down by not being perfect. Do you hear me? You are enough exactly as you are. Son, take it easy. Please." He cried into my shoulder, and for the first time in years, I felt like he let himself be vulnerable. That night, I realized something important. Sometimes the strongest thing we can do for our children is remind them that they are allowed to be human. The months that followed weren't easy. There were still late nights, still doubts, still stress. But I noticed Daniel beginning to change little by little. He started letting himself enjoy small moments, watching a movie with me, playing basketball with friends, even baking cookies in the kitchen. And each time he caught himself spiraling, I would whisper our phrase, and he would smile faintly, as if reminded that he didn't have to fight so hard alone. Eventually, college acceptance letters began to arrive. Some were rejections, and I braced myself for his disappointment. But when one of his dream schools accepted him, I saw something I hadn't seen in a long time. Joy. Pure, unfiltered joy. On the day we drove him to campus, he hugged me tightly before leaving. "Mom, He said softly, "Thank you for always telling me to take it easy." I didn't realize how much I needed to hear that. And as I watched him walk away, carrying not just his backpack but also the lessons we had shared, I whispered to myself, "Take it easy, Daniel. You've got this." This story may sound simple, but in those whispered words lived a lifetime of love. Being a parent is never about demanding perfection. It's about being the steady voice that reminds our children they are enough. And sometimes, all it takes is a quiet whisper. "Son, take it easy."